This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake that fire.
Wake your fuck ass up. Cross.
You never know who's a citizen of Sway in the Morning.
I'm Irvin Magic Johnson, and I'm a citizen now, a big citizen of Sway in the Morning. You know he got it going on. The brother got money. He cool. Started a DJ thing. He turned it. He made DJs. He just didn't start as a DJ. Everybody that came behind him, he opened the door. His track record is off the charts. This boy is so bad. We love him. He's like magic coming down on a fast break and no looking, making everybody better. That's Sway.
Sway in the Morning.
I had to kind of stunt on Cookie for a second right there, Heather B, because she was like, I just want to know your background. You know what? I got somebody who could break it down for you. Yeah. And that's why I had to play her husband, Irvin Magic Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We got the one and only, the author of the book, Believing in Magic, My Story of Love, Overcoming Adversity, and Keeping the Faith, Cookie Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so happy to have you.
Oh, my gosh. Can't believe you're on our show. Hey, does magic do that when you walk in the house? This is an amazing book.
Thank you.
This is a great read. Each page makes you want to get to that next page, and then we finally hear the story of the woman behind the empire.
Yes.
The foundation, the Magic Johnson Foundation, Cookie. 25 years it's been for you guys, right?
It's been 25 years.
Yeah.
We just celebrated a couple of weeks ago.
We
had a big celebration.
Yeah, everybody was there. Like Dougie Fresh was there, right? Who else came?
We had 100 of our closest friends.
Okay, yeah.
But, Steve Harvey was there, Samuel L. Jackson, Judge Mathis, Beyonce's mom, Tina. There are a lot of people there,
I ain't hear my name in that list.
Well, you ain't get invited.
I didn't get that invite. And he gave you a new ring, right? Or
he did.
How many carats is that ring?
25 for 25 years.
Wow. That's how you do it.
Gosh, look at that.
Oh, my God. Bling, bling. Sheesh.
For 25 years.
Yes, that's right.
It's hard work.
Years.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was hard work, but it was hard work from the beginning with you two, right?
Yes.
Talk about that. How you met in college?
Yeah, we met when we were freshmen in college, and then we dated for about a year and a half, and broke up for 4 years, and then got back together. Then we thought we were gonna get married, got engaged, broke the engagement. We broke up again for 4 years after that. So it was like a roller coaster ride for a while, about 12 years. It took us 12 years to get married.
To lock it down, to get it right.
Yeah, and then the minute we get married, I think we were married about a month, and that's when we found out he was diagnosed with HIV.
What a great wedding present, right?
Right. No, really. It's like after all that, we finally get married, and then, we found out about the HIV.
Okay, before we continue, Heather, I know you. Does that face in the checkered shirt right here, the guy with the wrinkled white T-shirt underneath, does it look familiar?
It looks a little familiar, yes.
Tell her why, Mike.
I'm from Lansing, Michigan, and I was actually at your wedding. But as an unofficial guest, though. Yeah. So when the wedding happened, it was the biggest event in Lansing. As everyone else knows, Lansing is a very small city, and so Union Missionary Baptist Church, I went to Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church, and it was a big city thing, and so we were there celebrating the union. This was pre-TMZ, pre-social media, and there was just a mob scene out there.
Yes.
We were so proud of Magic Johnson and your union and getting to know you as a city, and so we're just very proud of you. And so thank you for all that you've done. And so I just want to know about in terms of Lansing, Michigan, that doesn't get talked about a lot. And so Magic is the one who really put us on the map.
Yes.
And so what does that mean for your family and the impact you have on a city like Lansing?
Well, it means everything, We've given back, we've donated money to build buildings at Michigan State and, all around Lansing. Irvin always comes back. That's his home, and he loves Lansing. So we come back a lot. All of his family is still there. So we're there, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And when the kids were little, we used to send them there for 2 weeks to stay with the grandparents because I wanted to ground them. I wanted to make sure that they knew that there's another way of life than living in Beverly Hills in California. And these are good people. I wanted them to have a good solid roots. Yeah. And that's where they got them, was Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah, we're a good city.
You mentioned a month after being married, finding out that Magic was diagnosed with HIV. And when he came on the show, we actually asked him about that, in his life. And this is what he had to say.
What I tried to do, Sway, was let everybody know, all the women know who I was having sex with, hey, I got HIV. You should go get tested. And so it was a tough thing, and tough for them, tough for me. And then the toughest thing, man, was actually my wife, Cookie, was pregnant with our son, EJ, at that time. So, I got to go home to tell her I got HIV. Yeah. And we just got married. Yeah. That was the most difficult thing I had to do.
He said that was the most difficult thing he had to do in his life, and that's his side. How difficult was it for you?
It was very difficult. I mean, you have to think about the time. And in 1991, when you said HIV or you said AIDS, you thought a death sentence. You just knew that whoever had it was going to die because that's the only thing you heard. And so it scared me to death. When he told me that, and I just fell on my knees and started crying because I thought, oh my God, he's gonna die. What is this? What do we do? And then he told me at that point, he said, listen, if you want to leave me, I understand. It's okay. If you want to go and not have to deal with this. And, and I told him, I got mad. I was like, are you kidding? I love you. I'm not going to let you die. And to me, it wasn't even about all the women because, when you get HIV, you could have it in your system for 10 years and not know it. Yeah. So it's hard to pinpoint when you had it, when you got it and all that. So at that point, I wasn't concentrating on that. I was only concentrating on what I was faced with. And at that time, I was faced with, three things. He's going to die. Do I have it? And does my baby have it? Yeah. Will my baby have it? And then the next thing was get tested. So I had to get tested right away, but it took almost 2 weeks.
To find out the result.
Nowadays, it's rapid testing, so you find out right away. But it was almost 2 weeks, so that was very agonizing. And I have to tell you, I was scared to death. And even though I have my faith, I was still scared. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do if it's me or if it's my baby, So that's when I turned to the Lord. We just happened to have a revival at our church at that time. And I started going to church like every night, praying and being prayed for, and at that point, that's what gave me the strength to go on. That's what gave me the strength to say, listen, Lord, I'm going to let you handle this. And I'm going to have faith that you're going to help us through this.
And you also went on to changing his diet. Helping him change his diet and eat correctly. And you had a relationship with his doctor as well. So if the cocktails upset his stomach, you would talk to the doctor, and the doctor would tell him a new regimen. Yeah. But there was also the thing that was floating around him, too, because people were so unfamiliar with HIV. Right. Everybody thought it was a homosexual thing.
A gay disease.
A gay disease. Yes. And he was heterosexual. So there were the rumors of him. Was he gay?
Right.
How did you, when you first started hearing that, how did you guys do it?
It just made me angry because I knew he wasn't gay, but, it was just the ignorance of people at the time, that they just automatically associated this, with being gay. But what we needed, that's why he needed to be the face of this disease, to let everybody know that this disease could hit everyone, anyone. No matter who you are, you know. And if you don't take the precautions, necessary not to catch the disease.
Okay, man. Cookie is here, man. Cookie Johnson is here, and it's all in his book. So I'm not asking her something she hasn't written about already.
Cookie, I wanted to ask you as a fan, because I think especially as women, we didn't know you, but we all sat back and just admired you. There was like this quiet strength about you that we just was like, wow, I hope everything is okay. And fast forward these years now, what made you decide to put out a book now? Because so much time has went by. What made you want to share your story story now?
Well, one of the reasons, I look back over it's like 25 years, and I'm like, wow, it's gonna be 25 years, and look at where we've come. Look at where we started when at this point in 1991 they told him he wasn't gonna live. He wasn't gonna make it, and they told him he was in denial, thinking he was gonna live. Because remember in his speech he said, "I'm gonna be around here for a long time." So everybody just get ready for me. And then the biggest headline right after that is Magic's in denial.
Wow.
And I look back over, I'm like, it's been 25 years and he's still here and he's still healthy. He's never been sick a day other than like in the beginning when he took the medicine and it upset his stomach. But other than that, he's never been sick. Never showed any symptoms, praise the God, that he is healthy and strong. And so to me, that's a story to tell. And how did we get over all those obstacles? And, at the time you're going through it, so you're not really realizing the strides you're making until you get to the opposite end and you look back. That's why I wanted to write the story, to let people know, like, how did we make it through all those obstacles?
It's like a testimony.
So there was
exactly.
There was no magic cure he found in Africa because he had a lot of money that everybody thought. We thought it was because they got so much money, man. They just ridded him of a. No, but people kept trying to come to us saying that. But like, did you really want to go to Africa and try that? When you don't, like, I don't know if any of you would do that, but we didn't have a lot of proof about it, so it's like, I don't know if we should try that. We just followed the regimen that the doctor said, and that's like being as healthy as possible, eating right, working out. And your mental is just as important as your physical. Yeah. So you had to have a positive outlook. You had to have a positive mind. And that was the other thing about educating people about the disease. Like, the stigma that people had about the disease. You can't touch anybody, or, stay away from that person, or you can't date anybody that has the disease. That needed to stop. And that's why we started the foundation where we would go out and educate people, because these are people just like everybody else. And you just take the precautions that you're supposed to take, and you can have a regular relationship. You can be normal. Yeah. But you practice safe sex, though.
Yes. Okay. That's what I'm saying. You educate yourself about the disease to know, you have to practice safe sex, and you need to get tested annually.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you get tested early, it could totally save your life. You get tested early, you get on the medication early, you can live a long, happy life. And I think that for him, that was kind of the case. He wasn't sick when they found out. He wasn't, he didn't have any symptoms. It was a matter of taking a test for an insurance company.
Oh, wow. So he didn't even know.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
And they detected it, and that's when he got on the medication. And I think that's, part of the reason why he's alive here today. And I also think that, the Lord has kept him here, because I think that was his purpose. The Lord wanted, his purpose was to get out and to save as many lives as possible by being the face of this disease and talking about it and educating people about it. And then I think my purpose was to be by his side and to support him and to make sure he was healthy enough to do that.
Cookie Johnson, man. This book, Believing in Magic, My Story of Love, Overcoming Adversity, and Keeping the Faith, is one you want to pick up in order. We're going to take your calls, 888-742-3345, and come back with some more questions about Cookie Johnson.
So happy. He's comfortable in his own skin. When he announced that he was gay, it almost like the world embraced the brother.
Yeah.
And he is doing great things while he's still in college. And he went on this reality show, and he did a smart move. And so I didn't understand, because I want to let him grow up and be his own man and make his own decision, but I also want to make sure I help him, along the way.
Yeah.
I'm proud of my little man. I just took him out when we was here for the Super Bowl. We went to lunch. Him and my other daughter's here as well, and she's following her path in fashion as well. So Elisa, so they're both doing very well.
That was Magic Johnson speaking about EJ. We were talking to him about EJ and his rise to fame. He's been all over TV. A major socialite now, and we have his Cookie Johnson, his mother, Believing in Magic, the author of the book Believing in Magic, My Story of Love, Overcoming Adversity, and Keeping the Faith. And you have a chapter in the book called EJ's Freedom.
Yes.
Why was it important for you to talk about EJ in this book?
It was important because in the African American community, they still haven't embraced, being, gay or lesbian or any of that. And also maybe because we're very faith-based in our community. And so everything says, turn away from that. Don't do that. It's not right. And so I wanted people to know that, if your child is born this way, these people, this is who they are. You can't change that. You can't beat it out of them. You can't scare it out of them. It's just who they are. It's part of who they are. So we need to love them and accept them for who they are. It's not right to treat them differently. They're people just like we are. And I wanted them to see that I was like them in the beginning. I tried everything. I'm like, EJ, no, don't play with dolls. Go play, here, take this ball. Go outside and play basketball.
Because he played with dolls since a child, right?
Yeah,
when your mother used to spin around in dresses. I read this in the book.
Yeah.
And EJ wanted to try on the dresses, right?
Yeah.
So
he thought that was really cool to spin around in a big dress, and he wanted to put it on. He liked putting on those clothes, and when he was in school, he would go to the dress up corner and put on the princess outfits. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted to be. So we shouldn't look at these kids like something's wrong with them when they do that.
So how did you deal with the church? Because you grew up in a in faith and faith based.
And I'm very deep in the word.
Yeah.
And I go to church all the time. But what I had to do was I started asking questions, of course, and every answer came back as no, it's against the Bible. You can't do it. You can't accept that. But what I've learned over the years is I've developed a close relationship with God myself. And that's what we all have to do, is to develop a relationship with God. That's what God wants us to do. And I just took it straight to him. I just prayed about it. And the word God gave me was love. He said, I give you all several gifts, and the greatest gift of all is love. And it's funny because after that, my sister came up to me maybe a few days later, and she said, Cookie, I've been praying about this, and God told me to love, for you to love your child. And that was like my confirmation. So I know I find peace in that I know that God is all about love, and I know he wouldn't want me not to love my child.
Yeah, who cannot love their child? Your sister Pat, is it?
Yes.
Pat, okay. Tracy.
Yeah. Hi, Cookie.
Hi.
Going back to you're talking about the heavy stigma put on the diagnosis of HIV. I'm wondering, did you guys initially receive a lot of haters, like friends who revealed their true colors and just wanted to step aside? And then also, did you initially embrace the idea of Magic being the face of this disease?
Most of our close friends stayed close with us. They did not turn away from us. And that was a big, present, it meant a lot to us. And it kind of helped us along. Again, the mental is just as important as the physical. And that helped our mental, help us keep our head up, because they didn't turn away from us. There were some people that were casual friends that, you noticed just kind of dropped out of sight. And just like with Irvin, he lost his endorsements. And for him, even like some of the players he thought were, his friends, they, were saying little things behind his back or whatever. That was very hurtful. But the people that meant the most to us, they stayed with us. They hung in there with us. They never left us. And our family stepped up to the plate. They were right there with us. And so when they did that, that was all we needed. And your second question was...
with initially being the face, because there's other people who try to...
I actually was okay with fighting the disease and doing everything we could to educate ourselves and doing everything we could to help Irvin live. But when he came home to me and said, I'm going to make a public announcement, I was scared to death. And I tried very hard to change his mind. I mean, I had very good arguments. You shouldn't do this because, but he said, no, Cookie, you don't understand. I have to do this. He said, I have to go out because I need to save as many lives as possible. This is bigger than me. It's not about me. It's bigger than me. And, we went to speak to Elizabeth Glazier, who was a big AIDS activist at that time, and she
Starsky and
also,
Hutch.
yes, she also had the disease, and she was the one that sat down and told us that, listen, you can fight this thing. We're going to all fight this thing. You have to get in the fight for everybody. And that's when we realized that no, this isn't just for us.
Right.
It's for everyone. I mean, she got it through a blood transfusion. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and once she got it, still people tried to treat her differently, and she didn't get it from having unprotected sex. And then both her children had it because of the blood transfusion. She was pregnant when one at the time, she got the blood transfusion because she was delivering and, needed blood. And as it turns out, the baby had it and she got it from that. She got pregnant again because she didn't know she had it. And so it went to the other baby too. So I'm just saying there's so many instances of people who have this disease but weren't the ones that were out being careless. That's why it's so important to educate yourself about the disease, and people should not have these stigmas.
Dr. Savvy is a really famous holistic doctor who recently passed away. A lot of people are calling asking, did Irving ever go to Dr. Savvy? Are you familiar with him?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so that answers that question. Joanne from Pennsylvania is on the line. Good morning, Joanne.
Hello, Sway, and hello, everyone.
Good morning.
And Cookies specifically. I'm just calling. My family also faced the same issue with my father. The stigma was worse because it was due to his drug addiction. Growing up in Spanish Harlem and moving to Pennsylvania into the projects. My year I was graduated from school, and everybody's dad and mom were dying. I could probably count about 15 of us that lost our mother or our dad, and then our moms on top of it. My mom was also pregnant. We found out 3 months after. So I was honestly at 16 years old thinking I was going to college to get out of there. And then honestly giving it, thinking, wow, I'm going to be raising my brother and my sister, that were younger than I. And he's still around, but just you making that, when you guys announced it, it was just so powerful to me because it made me feel, we felt so much stigma about it because of how my dad just got it. But having a face and have it be a minority, just resonated with me and took me into the lane of work that I do now. I do clinical research. Pharmaceuticals and stuff like that, but
Joanne,
it's still
thank
going
you.
on now.
Yeah. And she had wrote that you've been an inspiration, Magic, in you, and because she has experienced a similar thing through her family. Yes. Joanne, thank you for sharing that story, and I'm sure you get that everywhere you go. Cookie.
Yes, and that's why it's so important for people to educate themselves about this disease, because once you educate yourself, you realize that, like I said, there's several different ways you can get it, but also you realize that you can't get it from touching people. You can still be near people, you can still hug people and have relationships with people. Yeah. You should never, treat them and turn them away like they're a piece of, dirt.
Yeah.
And that's the part of our whole, our foundation and our education piece. And then the next thing is everybody needs to get tested. Yeah. Especially if you're sexually active, it doesn't say you don't trust your spouse or your mate or whoever it is. It just means it's part of your own healthy regimen. Yeah. When we go get our physical every year, we get a diabetes test, we get a high cholesterol, but we get that not because we think we have diabetes or high cholesterol. We get it because it's part of our healthy regimen we do every year. HIV should be part of that regimen. Because if you're detected early, your life can be saved. If you wait till it's too late, when it shows itself and you're so far gone, sometimes the medication can't help you.
Can't help you. Cookie Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Cookie, can you come back and just hang out with us? And
this is really fun. I love it.
I told you were going to be all right because there's so much in the book. Yes. That we weren't able to cover.
Yeah, there's several. Right? My daughter and her adoption, there's several things in there.
Your parents and when you and Magic would argue, it reminded you of when your parents would argue?
That's right.
Yeah. All sorts of things. You were
Yeah.
very transparent in this book. It's Believing in Magic, My Story of Love, Overcoming Adversity, and Keeping the Faith by Cookie Johnson, wife of NBA legend Irvin Magic Johnson, and Deneen Milner, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Deneen is an amazing writer, you guys.
Yes.
She's wrote some wonderful books. You know, she did Steve Harvey's first book.
Mhm.
You know, she did a lot of books. She's an amazing writer.
Okay, great. Cookie, thanks for coming by. Can I
Thank
take a
you.
picture with the ring? All right. Okay. Okay, we're going to take a picture with her ring. Hold on. All right, we got Get in the Game up next. Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.